Hi, guys, friends, comrades. I'm not really sure where to start, but I want to make this like a video. Uh, I want to make like a series of videos where I just basically talk about random things that are on my mind, and could be a whole bunch of different stuff. I'll try to make some of it part of training and instruction, and I'll also try to talk about gear, gadgets, firepower, etc. But I had some stuff to do, and so I thought I'd sit down and video me just yammering on about whatever I've been thinking about lately. Current events, things that are going on in the world, going on in the United States, going on in the other parts, other countries, other parts of the world. Uh, so yeah, real quick though, this is kind of cool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with goon tape. They came out with a camouflage. They call it their Flectern. It's pretty close. It's not an exact pattern of the German Flectern. It kind of reminds me of like one of the partisan camos that the Russians use. So I automatically was like, sold. Of course I was, right? I mean, it doesn't show that I support certain individual parties or whole countries or whatever. It's not obvious. But anyways, I've got my PSA Ak105, and I've already got tons of goon tape on it. I really, really love goon tape, as you can see. I don't know if I know it's been a long time since I made a video talking about the 105, and I know I promised a few of you that I would do more videos in the future, and I have not really been able to make anything worthwhile. I've done a little bit of shooting. I don't know if you guys saw my video, my posts about Victory Day this year, May 9th. I went out and did some shooting just to show the colors and show the gear and all that stuff. So, and I'm also trying out my new camera mount. It's supposed to be like an automated uh, smart motion sensor thing that's supposed to follow me, and it really doesn't do a very good job. I mean, I got it off TikTok Shop. It is pretty cool. It does work mostly, but it's a little off. It's definitely not precision device like a real professional should actually have. But when you're poor and you don't make money like some of these people do, you just have to make things work. I wanted to make a video also because we just passed Halloween. Um, in case I didn't get a chance to say to anybody, Happy Halloween, Blessed Samhain. Um, I hope that the holiday was good to you. Hope you had a lot of fun, or I hope that you got some relaxation in. Because when November 5th comes around, things are going to get real bad. Or maybe they might be okay. They may not be too bad. Nothing's going to get great or good, but I do see some stormy clouds on the horizon. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see what happens when we get there. I did want to talk about a little bit. I don't know what your political affiliations are or your religious background, but we all have things that we want, we need, we stand for, we care about, we love. And first and foremost should be our fellow human beings of our group, our Congress, our pack. So your closest to kin or your best friends. Maybe you don't have anybody, but you still want to take part in protecting the innocent. And so, what I want you to think about, whether you're liberal, progressive, conservative, um, libertarian, socialist, Christian, Muslim, and come up with so many things. If you don't already, and if we happen to weather this storm and it doesn't seem to get so bad just yet, because I know whoever's going to be elected or chosen is not going to officially take power until into January of next year. But anything's possible. I don't know if you guys remember the last election, wherever you're watching from, but things got a little hairy, and a few people got hurt. A few people even got killed. And I just want everyone to know, I want everyone to understand that if you are part of the group of people or you by yourself, believe that the only way out of what we've been dealing with, what we've been doing, butting heads, disagreeing, arguing, not seeing eye to eye, etc., even trying not to agree to disagree, which is something that we as Americans really do need to learn how to do. It's not worth killing each other. It's not worth looking at your neighbor because they have a different sign on their yard and decide that they should die because they're not listening to you. They're not doing what you want them to do. If that's how you feel, that's how you think, you need to have your head examined and or you need to leave the country. I see a lot of the conservative side of the party. They're the worst about saying, well, if you don't love it, you should leave it. Quit trying to change my country or quit trying to change America. Or if you try to argue anything besides giving giving praise or homage to their champion, and we all know who that is, and it sure ain't Jesus Christ. Even though a lot of these Christian nationalists like to cling to the idea that they worship and they do the bidding of Jesus, they don't. Actually, most Christians in general are like the worst representation example of how Christians should actually be. If you even like read the Bible, if you can even stomach it, most of it's pretty bad. Some of it's got a couple of good parts. That goes the same for the Quran. The Torah I'm not super familiar with. I've never really been able to focus or even own one to read it. I don't own a Quran. I did borrow one for quite a while, and then I did listen to audiobooks, and I have also listened to it in like 3 languages with subtitles, including the original translation from, I think it's Arabic to English, which was done by the Pembroke Scholars of England. And so it's very hard to follow, kind of like the Bible, where they speak. It speaks in that old speech, like when you go to the Renaissance Festival or you play like a medieval video game or watch a movie or something, and they're like the way that they talk in there. That's how they supposedly used to speak back then. That's how the books are written, the Quran and the Bible. Uh, but yeah. Anyways, I'm kind of getting off track here. So anyway, so things might get bad and they may not. So here's what I want to just put this in the back of your mind on the back burner. Um, if you don't already own gear, survival gear, combat gear, uh, weaponry of your choice, or maybe you have someone that was able to recommend or train you on something. If you don't already have any of those things, I suggest that you go ahead and charge that credit card you've been saving and get some stuff because you're gonna need it. Okay, if all this goes south, it's better to have than to not have, if you know what I mean. Now, if you all know me as well as you think you do, some of you know me better than others. I'm not one of these people that is like hardcore prepper. I don't believe in any of that. I believe that makes you a sitting duck. I believe that makes you as the new kids on the block say, you're a loot drop. That's a fact. Um, a, a lot of But this little camera robot is a picky little thing, and it kind of just picks and chooses where it wants to go, and I'm not sure what makes it move back and forth. But anyways, back to subject. You guys need to get gear and get trained up. Get tools, get skills, fight like hell. That's something I have always taught on. That is no joke. Um, how do I put this? So basically, what we're looking at here is the whole world's going to probably end up in turmoil. But when we're talking about here, home, United States, it's going to be what they call a civil conflict, a civil war, a violent disagreement is what a lot, especially the right leaning part of the political spectrum, is really wanting. And I'm speaking from experience. I used to be very ignorant. I used to live in an echo chamber, and I used to believe that people of opposite political ideology or religious affiliation should be just killed. And that is absolutely savage and unreasonable, unacceptable, should never even be a thought in your mind. Unfortunately, I know a tremendous amount of conservative people, Christians, Christian nationalists, Republican, conservative, libertarian, are very violent minded. They very hardcore believe that because they can't make someone do what they want them to do, they think that the only other outcome should be that they should kill them. And it really sucks because like I have family members, I have friends, I have coworkers that think like this, and it's usually the older generations. Like some of the Gen Xers are like that. Most of the boomers, especially the white ones, are very hardcore like this. I love them to death, nothing but the best. But like my father and his girlfriend are some of these people, and I'm pretty sure my dad's probably worse than her. Like I said, I love my dad. He's like the best dad in the whole world. But when it comes to certain things, he is a little bit scary. And see how my camera moves and it just goes like a crazy person? At least you can still see the cool flag and you can see my face. But yeah, so, I mean, we're talking about these people have said things and even acted out violent nature and intentions towards people of the opposite side of the board. So people that aren't in their religion, people that aren't part of their culture that they want, um, their political views. If they don't match up, then the automatic response after the first and only time they come forward and say anything, after the first initial few words, then it turns into, well, I think that we should, kill them, or we should go and maim them, or somebody that I know very well, a family member, likes to quote, I think that there should be a uh, killing spree. How do they word it? They want a hunting license that has no bag limit on liberals. And that's freaking horrible. And you know what the worst part about this whole thing, and it really gets to me because there's nothing I can do about it. It's nothing that a lot of people can't do about it. But unfortunately, the majority of hardware, ammunition, firearms, prepper stuff, survival gear, you name it. We're talking people that just have a couple of rifles and a backpack, to people that have like full combat gear with like nods and suppressors and infrared lasers. Okay, most of these people are conservative. Probably at least three quarters of them are Republican. At least half of them are young, so like my age, like 40 and down to like 21. And then like 20% of the entire number, this is just rough estimates going off of what I've seen, who I've been around, etc. Um, Actually, I would say probably at least 30%. Let's throw a big number in there, just for the sake of, just because between 30 and 60% of that entire number of 100%, when I was talking about all those different groups, they are white Christian nationalists. Which, if you know anything about Christian nationalism, it is, as they call it, it's no joke. It is Bible drag for fascism. It really is. Take it from me. I have read three different kinds of Bibles, and yes, of course, I still own them, even though I'd rather not. But I keep them as like they're history books. They're like a reference book for history. They're a reference book for knowing what certain kinds of people, how the way that they think or the way they think that they should think, if that makes sense. Because a lot of these people that I'm talking about misinterpret the Bible, or they haven't even read any of it for themselves. And it's terrible, because it's like saying that you know how to man a ship at sea, and you get out there and here comes a big storm, and you basically only know how to turn the gas on and move the wheel. Everything else you have no idea how to handle. So you're probably going to die. That's how it looks. It looks like you're driving with a blindfold on. That's you don't and they don't care who they hurt, who they kill, who they upset. They don't care. And then they turn around and say that you're offended if you're progressive or liberal, a little more left leaning, maybe a lot left leaning, maybe you're socialist, communist. They think that you should just be dead because you don't think like they think, and that just sucks. I've been sitting here for a long time not doing anything, and I probably should. I thought about putting some. I got some magazines to load. I got a couple of magazines. I need to make sure they're topped off. Put some of my new tape on my rifle here. Real quick note, though, I will talk about the AK105 from Palmetto State Armory. I don't believe I have quite enough rounds through it for me to even say that it's one of those, how do I say, combat ready, combat efficient type guns. But I will say it does kick a lot of ass. It's super fun to shoot. The craftsmanship is pretty impressive. And you know me, I was always the hardest on American manufacturers of com block weaponry, East block weaponry, Russian technology, right? So like AKs. I was like, don't do it, right? And now I'm like, Kalashnikov USA, PSA are probably the two cheapest options for getting Kalashnikov pattern rifles and carbines. And of course, you guys know I have two 105s, and I haven't talked about the other one yet, and I will. I don't think I've really talked about my Kalashnikov USA KR9 SBR. It used to be the KP9, but I converted it to SBR because I think braces suck. But yeah, and that being like literally a direct clone of the Russian PP-19 Vityaz, it's a sweet gun. I mean, it literally is only missing like full auto. It takes I have a handful of the Russian magazines from Russia. Well, they're aftermarket, but they are made in Russia. They're called Perfect Units for Firearms, Puff Gun Company. If you've ever heard of them, good luck getting any of their stuff now, thanks to all the Russophobia and all the banning of everything coming from that part of the world. That's thanks to any administration of the United States. Doesn't narrow down to one particular one. But anyways, yes, if you're looking for a 9mm sub gun to run, and you like AKs, you can't freaking go wrong with the Kalashnikov clone of the Vityaz. It's pretty freaking sweet. When I first got it, I had some sort of ammo malfunction with Federal Ammo. I think it was Federal, and I had like the integrity of the ammunition, the casing or something wasn't all there, and it blew up. And I'm sure you probably saw my post talking about it. It jacked up the gun pretty bad, and I had to send it back and tell them this is what happened. And even if they believe me or not, they fixed it free of charge, got it back, been running it ever since. And I literally don't clean it. You guys probably know me as the guy that I don't usually clean any of my guns, and if I do, it's like a barrel swab, and then some lube on the rails where the moving parts touch. That's all I do. And the reason I do that is, well, number one, I'm lazy, but number two, I like to prove that Russian technology is the best technology. And if you disagree with that, and if you know anything about what's been going on in the world the past 20 years, and even further back, but I'm talking like since like the Syrian conflict started going on, the African conflicts, and then now we're looking at the full scale combat zone in the Ukraine. NATO tech does not mean squat against Russian tech. It's just there's no contest. After all the stuff that I've seen on these Telegram channels I'm a part of, Instagram, TikTok, even some Facebook stuff. I have people that I know, not know, but they're like acquaintances, internet friends that are boots on the ground in Ukraine, in Syria, in Africa. These are typically Europeans or Canadians or Australians that chose to fight for the Russians and versus fighting for the Ukrainians. And they video stuff. They talk about stuff. You see it all up front from the front line in color that the NATO allies, the United States, everything that we are putting into this is failing. It has been failing. It's been absolutely just a miserable defeat. And so if you don't believe me, you should go check it out for yourself. If you don't care, then I don't care. And I'm not going to argue with people that think they're going to tell me what they think that they know versus what I actually know. We're not going to do that. So if you want to discuss it on a level where we're all going to be adults and you want to know information, you don't want to just point the finger and use insults and things like that, I'm not going to do that. I will delete you. I will block you. I will wish you the best, but I'm not going to put up with that crap. So anyways, no joke. So the PSA AK105, this is the pimped out version. You can't really tell because of all the goon tape, and I've put a stock on it. It is an SBR. It had one of those weird braces. It kind of looked cool, like halfway down. They were trying to make it look all Spetsnazy, as I like to say, but because of the end was that like floppy material that's like fabric that you would strap on your arm if you hold it like a pistol, like it was designed. It just doesn't hold up. So what I've done is I bought a stock from PSA, and then I've got the Russian made recoil pad, and not because the gun kicks, but because it makes it at length for my big giant ass to hold the gun and shoot it better. Goon tape helps hold it on because they just slip on. That's something that really is nice about these is they just slip on. They fit on other stocks better than some, but anyways, it's got M-lock technology, so it's the grip is the M-lock, so it's got the little thing in the bottom where you can put stuff inside of it. Pretty handy. And then of course the rail on the front is M-lock, and it's actually got the gas tube and the front grip here. They are connected, intertwined, so you can actually mount stuff on the top here of your gas block, your gas tube, and it holds zero. The only issue with that is, as always, is there's only a handful of optic manufacturers that can even stand the heat after you start running this bad boy. And if you live like down south, or you live up here in Michigan where it gets a little gross in the summertime, if you have an optic on the end here and you're running, it's going to get a little spicy. And depending on what you're running, it will start to malfunction the components in the optic. If I remember correctly, there's a 1 or 2 Holosun. There is, what's that company called? Steiner. They're pretty impressive, and I know that Trigicon, made here in the great state of Michigan, Trigicon has a handful that pretty much you can just beat the crap out of them and they just go. But if you're poor like me and you want other options, so this is something I should probably bring up real quick. So the side rails for the AK platform, this one's made by, I should have saved the container so I could show you guys. You literally can get these. You Google AK side rail mount, etc. These are like $12. They're made out of aircraft grade aluminum. And they have like a very simple way you put them on. They got this little screw in the bottom that you unscrew it. It's got a little retention lever, just like most of them do, but it's much more basic. Slide it on, make sure it's tight, and once you put this over, you can actually flip it around and make it even tighter and tighter, which is what I usually do with these. And I basically treat these as a throwaway. So when it comes time to service the gun, or it comes time to take this off because maybe the technology up here is dead, or whatever's going on, something gets damaged, or I decide that I'm ready to move on and do something different. Like eventually, I would like to get a dog leg and replace the dust cover and actually mount it to the top of the gun with a dust cover. But for 12, it's like 12, $13. I think it's Aim Sports. It's one of those things that you go to like Dunham's or like Walmart back in the day, or like Kmart, and they make like the cheapest crap like you've ever seen in your life. And so you don't like take a chance on it because you're like, wow, that's like really cheap. I'm not buying that crap. It's one of those things where they call it a sleeper. Versus like the next up from like UTG or Midwest Industries, or you can get your hands on Russian built stuff. Um, these $12 mounts, once you put them on there and make sure that they're not going anywhere, you tighten this up all the way. You're gonna have to actually probably break it to get it off, but it will stay. It holds zero. um, I mean, I've never used the side rail part right here. I don't even know why they put that there. I don't understand the point of that. But uh, full Picatinny. I've got a Holosun green dot, and I've got this Fiaki 6 power uh, magnifier. And I'll talk about that here in a minute too. But yeah, like these 12, 13, maybe 14, maybe 15. I'm pretty sure I spent like $13 on this. I got a couple of them. And how I learned about them was years and years ago. A friend of mine that actually gave me my first AK, he gave me a mount with it, and that was the mount. And I didn't know anything about it. I just, at the time, I was new to the whole concept. Um, but yeah. So, anyways, if you don't have to be one of the cool kids that's got to have like the expensive Midwest Industries or the JMac customs, or even Russian made stuff, and you're just trying to save some money, you need something that just works and you don't care how cheap it is. Aim Sports, I think it's called the double. They call it the Aim Sports double rail AK scope mount, something like that. Literally, I think I got it from Cheaper Than Dirt, maybe. I don't know, but I've seen them in a couple different websites. So if that's something that you are interested in, yeah, I can definitely vouch for it. I've had four of these. I officially have not broken any of them. I do have one that I took it off of a previous weapon and I put it on one of our shotguns. Um, and it's so bent up that I literally had to like take it off with like pliers and then put it back on with pliers and then hammer it. I put a little bit of Loctite in there because I felt like the screw might have been maybe getting loose, and then I tightened the arm all the way. And now if I want to get it off that gun, I am gonna have to probably break it. I'm gonna have to probably like take a torch to it, or cut off the arm with like bolt cutters or something, because it's on there. I kid you not. Like when I say it's on there, it's if you welded it to the gun. That's how ridiculous you can actually get these on there. And to some people that might seem stupid, like, oh well, you're just gonna buy it and use it, and then when it's time to take it off, just throw it away. Why not? Why not? If it's $12 and it works until you're tired of it, literally does not wear out. It does not wear out. Doesn't rust, doesn't shift, doesn't nothing. It just works and it's cheap. Who cares? Throw it away, get another one. Or maybe now you're ready to upgrade to the cool kid stuff. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get this JMac custom, or this Midwest Industries, or what's that other one? You're gonna get this Primary Arms one that's like, $300, $400, $500 freaking mounts, and you haven't even bought a freaking scope yet or whatever. Some things I don't understand. Like, why would you spend so much money to do something or get something that you could do it for so much cheaper and get just as great a quality? This is something that I have discovered doing things the way that I do them. So another great example is Holosun. Like them, love them, hate them, agree with them. This is a 140 to a $180 optic. Okay. You can get them in red or green. It's the most basic one they make. This one just happens to be the one that you put the 2032 battery in. It's got the adjustable, the windage and the elevation. Super simple, super quick. And then the buttons on the top, you can change the brightness of it. It can get super bright or real tiny, tiny, tiny. This optic has been through hell. I have had this on like 6 different guns. Um, and I have changed the battery in it maybe never. It just goes and goes and goes. Well, what's cool about these is they have that shake awake. So literally, once you put this thing down and you don't mess with it for like, I think it's like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or something. It's not very long. It goes out. It turns off, and then as soon as you literally disturb the gun, if it's just sitting peacefully, it's not moving, nothing going on, and you go to touch it, pick it up, this thing is so sensitive. It turns on. It's ready to rock and roll. Okay, I think I got this one on Amazon for like 140 something. I got a good deal on it. If I was gonna buy another one, the next one I'm gonna get is the one that's got the solar panel on the top, which is always super useful because I mean, what if the battery does die? You would never know if you had the solar panel on there, right? Out in the daylight, or you're inside of a warehouse or something, or whatever, and you still have battery power. So I'm not sure if I say it correctly. Made in China. It sounds like it's got an Italian name. I don't know if it's uh Feyaki. It's like Feych. I don't know. But anyways, this was like $80, I think, and it's got 6 power. The glass is not super great. It's a little bit like fuzzy, but I mean, I can flip this bad boy over and have a decent, long range optic option to basically so I have to get my face. Yeah, so I mean the eye relief is kind of like bad. It's pretty bad. But you know what? When you're poor and the economy sucks and you have always been in medical debt your entire life, you get what you can get. And honestly, these are pretty durable. They seem like they're a bad idea because of the price tag, but once again, it's one of those things where you're like, hey, I'll give it a chance, and sure enough, it paid off. Will it probably take falling out of the back of a truck and getting run over? No, probably not. But it is fog proof. It is water resistant, and I mean, compared to the next one of the higher competitors like Vortex and Holosun, and I think Sig makes a few. Anyways, a lot of them are up there like in the hundreds for these things. And I'm like, bro, I just need a little bit of zoom. I ain't trying to take somebody's picture, you know what I mean? So you can't go wrong with something that is really, really good, and it also doesn't empty your bank account, if you know what I mean. Same thing with these flashlights. There's a couple different brands. Some of them don't even have names, but these flashlights that take those big fat 18650 batteries that you can recharge them. These things are stupid impressive. Like I had one, I recently threw it away like last year, I think I threw it away. I had one for like 6 years straight, and if you guys know me, I'm rough on stuff. Like I beat the crap out of stuff. And I carried it everywhere, used it on everything, and then one day it just kind of like fizzled out, and I was like, it was literally a $10 flashlight. Okay, you can get this big guy right here. I think it's like a $30 flashlight, and I mean they're just impressive, and they're bright. They're obviously impact resistant. They might even be they might even be water resistant, heat resistant, because I mean, I run them like this all the time, taped next to the gun where the barrel is. They get rained on, snow, etc. And I've only put one battery in here. And I use this thing all the time to dick around with. Training, I use it as like a dry fire reference point. And it's just, you can't go wrong. And I mean, so like you can literally get on Amazon and buy one of the smaller ones with a charger and like 2 batteries for like $25, why freaking wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? And so I'm gonna start messing around with this stuff, and I don't know what's making this move so much, but I'm gonna take it off of here. You guys want to see the box? That's my mount. Got it off of TikTok Shop. Love TikTok Shop. It's kind of like buying off of like Amazon or AliExpress, except it's extremely simplified, and the shipping typically is a little more expensive. But like you literally are getting stuff from like China or the Middle East in like 2 days. Like I don't know who's in charge of the shipping, but you get this crap fast, and that's very convenient. So, anyways, what else should we talk about? So, something that has been on my mind, and I don't know if any of you have any input on this at all, but, and I guess I did kind of already mention it a little bit. So, the election coming up here in the United States on November 5th, we're looking at having basically all the same problems with whoever we end up with. I hate to say it, but if we get Donald Trump, yeah, we might not have World War III. It's possible that he will, because I mean he is pretty good buddies with Putin. He really is. Vladimir Putin and him are, they're not like buddies, but you know what I mean. They're definitely more friendly than he would be with like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, or kind of had like the same relationship that he had with George Bush Jr., where you would see them often goofing off, joking around, talking about stuff. So they obviously have things in common. And so the Ukraine conflict is going to be over. Now, is it going to be a solution that everybody wants? No, it's not. I hate to tell you, and this is for all the Russian haters, but what's going to happen is Zelensky is going to be allowed to leave. If he doesn't, he's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He is wanted for war crimes. And he's also a fascist. And so, I mean, that's everything completely polar opposite of what I believe and what the Russian Federation believes and what many Americans should believe. I mean, if you guys aren't anti-fascist and you have been supporting Ukraine and you don't know anything about it, you would be very upset with yourself. Or maybe you don't give a crap. Maybe you're like most boomers I talk to are absolutely just lost in the freaking woods. They don't know anything about the Ukraine conflict. But they sure are quick to side with, yeah, we'll send him some more money, and Zelensky's doing a good job. I saw that in U.S. Weekly or whatever, and I watch Fox News or CNN, and this is what they're saying, and it's not what you freaking think. And like I said, if you want to have a conversation and talk about it, and you want to actually know things without getting pissed off and acting a fool, I'm game. I love a good conversation. And I don't mind debating. I'll debate a little bit. But I'm not going to have you insult me. I'm not going to have you say things just to try and be right, for you to try and sound like you're right, even though you're not. Your feelings are valid, but they do not dictate truth. That's a bottom line. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but reality is reality. And the reality is that the United States and NATO are waging a proxy war through Ukraine against Russia. And Ukraine is a state that has always been a haven and a breeding ground for fascism. There are actual Nazis in their military. Three of their main brigades, including the Azov and the 76th Battalion, are all Nazis, skinheads, people that have like Hitler Youth tattoos and swastika eagles and shit on their chest and their back and stuff. And like, these are people that if you haven't seen it, they're always freaking doing it. They're making commercials now to talk about how they're so good and they're going to beat Russia and blah, blah, blah. They got people standing in their uniforms and stuff, and they're doing this. All right. Do you guys know what this is when somebody goes Sig Heil? Do you know what that is? Okay. So love or hate Russia, they automatically should be a better choice. If you're going to take sides, they're a better choice automatically just based on that. Based on the fact that there are freaking real, actual, skinhead, hate everybody but white people, Aryan race, Nazis. The people that murdered all the Jews in World War II. Okay? Yes. The real freaking deal. Their hero, and they have a statue of him, and they have decals and shirts and all kinds of stuff of Stepan Bandera. If you don't know who he is, Google him. Stepan Bandera. Stepan Bandera. He was a collaborator with the Nazis during World War II. He was a Ukrainian who was trying to help the Nazis take Ukraine and keep it, blah, blah, blah. What a shithead. I mean, if you're a Nazi, if you support Nazis, you are cannon fodder. I feel like I can respect someone's beliefs, but when your belief system is where, that you think that your bloodline is like pure, and you think that like all people of like darker skin, of different backgrounds, religious, political, that don't line up with what you're trying to do, which is, if you remember what Adolf Hitler was trying to do, he was trying to erase an entire bloodline of people, and he was trying to make a rule of white supremacy, literally like the whitest people possible, running the world. And anybody that wasn't, if they couldn't be used for anything like labor, or cannon fodder, they would just kill them. That is no joke, and they're doing that now. That is what has been going on, and it's just, I just can't seem to understand why people don't know this stuff. What's really ridiculous is there's people that do know, and they don't care. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. We gotta beat those Russians. Why? You know why? Margaret Thatcher said it in a interview or a conference back in like the 70s, I think it was, where their whole goal is to defeat the Russians to take their land. Wow. Americans and Europeans wanting to steal other people's land and kill them and take their crap, that's not something new, right? So that is the ultimate goal. It always has been. And it sucks because pre-World War I guess I should say pre the end of the Second World War, United States, France, and Russia, the Russian Empire, the Soviet Union, Russian Federation, we have always been the best allies. And then once things started changing here in the 50s, it just trickled down. Fast forward 2024. And American citizens don't even know why they hate Russians. They just know that they do because Vladimir Putin is a dictator, because the TV told me. And Ukraine is the good guys because they're a sovereign nation, they need to be protected. And that's not true. And the United States has never, ever, ever annexed anything. They've never invaded anything. They've never destroyed unarmed, innocent people. Of course not, right? Russia does all those things, though, right? I heard that Fox or CNN talked about it. They're lying to you, okay? Yes, of course, everybody's media is going to be biased to their own country. So yeah, if you watch Russian media, it's going to be a little more biased for Russian stuff. Same thing goes for any country. But literally, the United States is being, the citizens are being taught stuff that is extremely fictitious, that anybody that has a lick of common sense could go, that doesn't seem right. And Google is free, bro, as the kids say. Google is free. All right? Look up stuff. There's like dozens and dozens and dozens of freaking Telegram channels. Telegram is freaking awesome, by the way. If you don't have Telegram, get freaking Telegram. Literally channels full of stuff from the front showing you what is going on, who's doing what, who's whatever's going on, right? Literally, you can watch basically you're watching the Russians and her allies trying to stop the spread of what Adolf Hitler was trying to do. Okay, literally. Not just that, but they're also defending their backyard. So, like, when the United States was like having a cow over the Cuban Missile Crisis because the Russians were sending advisors and they were going to put missile silos in Cuba, okay, way back when, and we were like shitting our pants over it. That's because that's our backyard, right? Cuba. That would be like the Chinese and Russia setting up shop in Canada or Mexico. They're like right there. That's what's going on. And it's not like we haven't talked about it. There's several times the Prime Minister, the President of Russia have requested for NATO expansion to cease, for the United States expansion to cease. And what have we been doing? We have literally got bases everywhere surrounding the Russian Federation. Okay? So when people say that the Russians are the bad guys, there's Russian aggression, Putin's a dictator, I sit back and look at what I know, and then what's being said, and I go, have you guys looked at a map lately? Have you seen who's actually being aggressive? After being asked, hey, by the way, please stop doing that. Okay? Literally, please cease and desist multiple times. And what are we doing? We're America. We can do whatever we want. And now we're watching us and like 16 other countries pour everything that we've got into this whole thing, weapons, people, you name it. And if you don't think that there's not Americans on boots on the ground in Ukraine against Russians, you're drinking freaking Kool-Aid, okay? These people literally get off the plane and strap up and slap a Ukrainian flag next to their country of origin flag and go and they think they're going to go fight Russians. Most of them don't even get 4 hours into the conflict, which is the average life expectancy of a Ukrainian military personnel, is the average lifespan from when they enter the combat zone is 4 hours. Kid you not, 4 hours and they're dead. You know why? Because Russia is the most powerful country in the world. They have been for a very long time. We as Americans don't believe that because we don't know anything, because we don't go out and find the information for ourselves. The United States has not been the greatest nor the most powerful for quite a long time now. If people only knew how vulnerable we are to an attack from Russia and her friends, we'd be at the table talking about how can we work this out peacefully. We'd be like, we're sorry about everything. Please don't come kick the shit out of us. But you know, lucky for Americans and Europeans, that Vladimir Putin is still the president of Russia, and he is a extremely patient man. For somebody who could literally lift a pen, lift a finger, and have anybody killed, anybody abducted, anything destroyed, anything taken at any moment that he wishes. Okay, we're talking about a living God, okay? And he doesn't. He doesn't do that stuff. You know why? Because he's a freaking decent human being. And not because he's an Orthodox Christian, because Christians are such good fucking human beings, but because he's Russian. And Russians think different than everybody else. They are not so self-centered and devoted to destroying other people's lives and cultures. That is not what they're interested in. Russians want to preserve what is already theirs, and they want to flourish. They want to live a good, happy, peaceful life. And there's many, many others that are not allowing that. Therefore, they have to take steps and take actions to prevent things from pouring onto their soil. You literally have missiles being fired out of Ukraine into Russian territory. These guys should be leveling us by now. I mean, just from them shooting drones and missiles into like Moscow, uh, the Russians should have literally turned half of our country into a parking lot by now. Okay, literally. If you believe in nuclear weapons, if you believe that's actually a thing, um, and that's one of my conspiracy theories. So I haven't talked about it yet. I will eventually. But yeah, if they weren't such a wonderful people, if they're such bad guys, why are they letting United States and her allies do whatever they want? Okay, why are they allowing Saudi Arabia to do whatever they want? Why are they allowing Israel to do whatever they want? Uh, because they want better things. Vladimir Putin has stated so many times, and this is his true belief, that he wants everybody to just get along and make things work. And how are you supposed to do that when you have on the opposite side of the chessboard a corrupt whole bunch of people who just care about money and power, literally care about nothing else? They would sacrifice their own blood relations to make a dime. Always causing trouble, making war, wanting to steal things, take people's resources. For example, you've got Allied vehicles leaving out of Syria on the main highway with oil that we did not buy. We were not given. We just took it. We took oil. We are taking oil from Syria at gunpoint, telling people load up the truck and then leaving. And then the Russians are still there. Um, and they basically there's a couple of positions where I have seen the videos of the trucks leaving the plants, the rigs loaded up with Syrian oil, illegally stealing this stuff, driving across the border with it. And the Russians aren't going to do nothing about it. They just have to watch, because what are they going to do? Start World War III? That's where we're at. That the Russians are allowing all this stuff to happen around the world because they don't want us to be nuking each other. They don't want us to be killing each other. They don't want that. But if you had 2 cents to rub together in your freaking brain to get on the internet, which is vast and full of information that you could collect from anywhere that you choose, and figure out what's really going on and learn, you would know that that's what they want. They want nothing more than peace and stability, which is what we should want. But we don't. We want to take everybody's shit and kill whoever we have to kill to get it. We did that to the Native Americans. All right. The U.S. government came over here, came across this great land, and any of the native tribes that put up any kind of a fuss, they squashed them. Whether they did it behind curtains by giving them diseases on clothing and blankets, or they straight up rode through their villages and just killed them, men, women, children. Okay, genocidal campaign. So don't worry, because the U.S. government is willing to do that to everybody, including you as an American citizen. Okay. So there's all that. And like I said, if you really want to freaking know, you can either find out for yourself or ask me, and I will do my best to direct you where you need to go, send you the stuff that you need to see, and then you can go from there. It's that simple. Quit watching American TV until you learn a few things. And I have said before, if you're looking for a good, biased information source, probably the best still so far, because I really haven't seen anybody else that has done it as well as they do. I mean, we're talking, they are biased to absolutely no one but their own, is India. India's got a couple of news stations that literally, just tell you word for word, action for action, how things are unfolding. This is how it is, black and white. There's no gray areas. Whoever they're talking about, they're telling you exactly what's going on. They'll say good things about these guys, good things about these guys, bad things, bad things. But they're telling you what they see. They're calling it how they see it. So if you need something unbiased to look at, that's a great place to start. And I just can't remember the names. But if you DM me, I'll look it up and I'll share it with you so you can see. But yeah, it's all out there, but you have to be willing to freaking find it or even look at it or even take it into your brain and calculate it and consider what's going on. You know, it's a bad habit of a lot of people that hear something, see something, and they assume whatever they want inside their head. They create whatever reality that they want to live. Kind of like how Christians think that their religion, their ideology dictates what everything everybody else does, and they don't realize that it only works for them, works on them, and they condemn everybody else for not following that. That's how ignorant we're talking. Quite a few people that refuse to want to learn, or even after hearing something decide that never mind, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. By the way, that's what I mean by an echo chamber. If you only surround yourself with the same exact things over and over, people, ideology, etc., that's called an echo chamber. You literally are speaking, they're speaking, and it's all bouncing off the walls. You're all in the same room together, and you're hearing the same crap over and over again, and there's no outside perspective whatsoever. Which is why religion works so good to control people, especially women and children, because if your woman is not allowed to leave the house, your children are not allowed to go to public school, they can't be taught other things other than what you want them to know. So that can be kind of good, it being kind of bad. The good news is you have complete control of them. The bad news is they're going to be completely ignorant to everything that is reality. I've seen it firsthand from family members, extended family members, watching this unfold and can't do anything about it, because if you say anything, you're a sinner, a blasphemer, a communist, whatever, any kind of slur they can come up with to throw at you, they will freaking do it. So, by the way, if you're by goon tape or hockey tape, it is a good idea to get medical shears. I have a pair of medical shears just for cutting goon tape, because it doesn't rip so good, and knives tend to not be sharp enough or precise enough. So I like to use the shears because, I mean, let's face it, the shears, they're about damn near cut through anything, including your finger. So when you're using these bad boys, don't have your hands in it, because if you think a steak knife will cut your finger while you're chopping something, okay, this shit right here, you go like that, and just enough where if you do it fast enough, you literally could take the end of your finger off and you wouldn't know for like a couple seconds. That's literally how ridiculous it is. These are designed to cut through like jeans and heavy winter coats. Carhartt coat, cut through a freaking Carhartt coat. You think it's not going to go through your little hot dog finger? So when you're using these guys, if you're not a complete imbecile, watch your fingers, all right? Or if you don't care, whatever, I'll fuck off. You do what you want to do. So I'm putting some of this camo tape on my rifle, and it's kind of looking cool. I don't know. It probably looks ghetto. I don't care. It's, $8 a roll, and it lasts for almost freaking forever. I like it, so piss off. Anyways, moving on. I thought maybe I would take a chance, and I probably should have been talking about this all along, but I got off track talking about other stuff. But I wanted to talk about myself a little bit, and I feel like people, even though people don't give a shit, because people don't give a shit. Like, if you have a problem, you're suffering with something, people really don't care. They don't, and it sucks. Like, they may seem like they do at a certain point, but like when you really need somebody the most, they're not there, or they don't believe you. And I'm a prime example of that. So anyways, to go back and to not get into too much detail, but just enough for you to understand, Any of you that know me, or if you trained alongside with me, if you guys have ever seen me in public, you notice that I walk with a limp. Um, Sometimes it's better than most. So, uh, pretty much all of my 20s, and this is going back to when I was 19 years old when it first started. I was, what's the word I'm looking for? I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease, kidney failure, due to an autoimmune disease, specifically a type of lupus. You can look that up too. Mine was and is lupus nephritis, which is the inflammation of the kidneys. Um, I have been pretty much almost dead twice. First time my kidney function got down to 12, and I was actually on a life support machine for a couple days until they could get things figured out. And then it happened again in 2010, and I got down to like 15%. And we're talking stage 4 kidney failure. Okay, we're talking like 12 or 15% kidney function is literally enough kidney function to still draw some breath, to verbally communicate a little bit, um, move a little bit. We're talking you're literally on low battery, low power when you have low kidney function like that. And the only thing at that point that's keeping you alive is your brain and your heart, your will to live. I think what saved me the most was my will to survive for my friends and family, and also being a stubborn Taurus probably helps. Um, and honestly, probably my sense of humor. Everything's always a joke. Everything's always something that can be heckled at, no matter how serious it may seem. I feel like that probably saved my life more than anything. I regularly, if you know me, I like to joke and goof and heckle and talk shit all the time. It's just one of my things. Especially if I'm doing it to you, you should know that I like you a lot, or you're like my friend, or um, family members. So yeah, if I'm not heckling you, you should probably be worried. I'm probably wanting to like beat you up or something. But yeah, so anyways, so I battled with that for been been battling it up until about 2 years ago. I'm in remission again. Praise be to the gods. Hail Lilith. Uh, I had to have extensive amounts of Cytoxin treatment, chemotherapy, and I even had a little bit of radiation. Radiation sucks, by the way. And if you guys don't know what radiation is, they literally use a small amount of uranium and they project it into your body through like some sort of heat source. So they literally take in nuclear power and microwaving it on you. Not a good time. Okay, you want to talk about shitting and puking yourself to death? Whoa, buddy. And and then I was on chemotherapy. I had to do dialysis a couple times. Dialysis really isn't as bad as everybody makes it kind of seem. Like dialysis is a bad thing, but dialysis is where they hook you up to the machine that actually helps your body pump the blood in and out. So yeah, dialysis is actually like when you hear somebody mention dialysis, it's actually the only good part, because the machine is like making your body work. It's helping your body work. It basically it's a machine that like flushes your blood. It like cleans your blood, and like I guess it like processes it and makes it like work better. Makes it work in your body better. Uh, I like to call it the human dejuicer 9000. That always got a couple of chuckles in the hospital. But yeah, so, anyways, once I got out of that storm, for the most part, I think I was about 24, 25, I started having some strange pain, mostly in my hips, a little bit of my back. Now it's spread through a lot of my body. Some days are worse than others. And it's not arthritis by itself. I have a condition now due to all the extensive medical treatment I had to have for my kidneys, all the steroids, the chemotherapy, the Cytoxin treatment. Gave me another condition that I'm super excited that I have. It's called avascular necrosis, which basically is where your bloodstream is like lacking oxygen, and the oxygen that is there is only being given to certain places in your body at a certain point, at a certain level. So like your joints specifically. So like I said something about my hips. So my hips are like basically not getting enough fresh air, as you could say. And the tissue and the matter, the bone matter is literally eroding, decaying, dying. So literally I have like zombie parts inside of me. So when you watch me like limp around or I can't like run and stuff, that's why. And there's not really a fix for it. Like you literally just have to like ride it out. So to continue talking about real quick, my medical conditions. So the avascular necrosis. Anyway, so basically the whole limping thing and having issues with pain, like I said, it's where the oxygen is just not getting to the area that's being affected, and so it's realistically like your whole body can't do anything without O2. We're water and we're air, and so without those things, stuff decays, and so that's what's happened. So anyways, both of my hips are completely like decayed. My right one's probably the worst. They did a core biopsy on me in 2014, and they tried to put a bone graft in there. And what a bone graft does is it tries to accumulate the necessary ingredients, like the oxygen, to come to where they put it in, and so it encourages bone regrowth. Well, it didn't really work. It hurt even more after they had drilled into it, and it's 10 times weaker than my other leg, and my left side is my worst side, so go figure. My left side is like stronger than my right side because of that. I literally, the only thing that I could do to maybe remedy some of the issues, like the pain and the weakness, is get hip replacements. And most medical doctors and medical facilities that do that sort of thing, they usually don't operate on people as young as me. I'm 37 years old. Most people don't get hip replacements until they're like at the end of their 40s, 50s, even into their 60s. So just to give you perspective, and what one of the experts at St. Joe's told me a few years ago, that because of all that I've been through with the lupus especially, I'm twice my age on the inside, like with a lot of my body, like especially like my kidneys. Like right now my kidney function maxes out at like almost 50%. Like that's almost just one kidney, because you got two, if you don't know that. Usually like 45% kidney function. So less than half is what I'm operating on, which now that I'm in remission, I'm actually the most healthy and the most normal I've been in a long time, since I was a teenager. Like I don't have to drink so much water anymore, or I guess I don't feel like I need to. I can hold my bladder can hold for longer. Those are things you have a lot of trouble with when your kidneys don't work. And honestly too, like in between this whole journey that I've been on, I had a bunch of other illnesses in the middle. Like when I got when I relapsed in 2010, and I spent some time in the hospital. Like, I think I was there for like 5 months or something straight. It's usually a pretty long time when you have issues like that where they have to get it under control. I got like pneumonia like 5 times. I got like a really bad blood clot that they thought they were gonna have to amputate like one of my legs. Yeah. Um, I had like an allergic reaction to something, and I guess I went full Banana Rambo. And I kind of remember the nurse, and I remember her because she looked at me, she was like this close, looked me right in the eyes, and was like assuring me that everything was okay, because apparently I was coming unglued. Like, I was literally going cuckoo. I guess I got jumped up out of the bed, and I was yammering on, and like a crazy person, like, get the tranquilizer. Because of some sort of mix up with my medication. I had been on so much medication. At one time, my worst, this is when I was still pretty much a kid. I was like maybe like 20, 21. Because I wasn't able to drink for my 21st birthday because I was on so much crap and my kidneys were trash still. I had this big like serving dinner dish that my mom had because I was still living at home, that you'd put like Thanksgiving turkey on. And it was full of medicine containers. All right. And that included like solid pills, liquids I had to take. I think I had an injection that I had to do one time. I don't remember what it was for. Oh, I did have a series of seizures for a while due to, they never could figure it out, but I'm pretty sure it had to do with like medicines mixing, and they just weren't able to pinpoint it because doctors are practitioners. They're always practicing. They don't have all the answers. Science only knows so much. But I guess they know more than religion, don't they? But, so yeah, to sum everything up, I have been through hell. Hell's not a place that you have to wait to die and go to for being a terrible human being or whatever. Hell is here on earth and having lots and lots of medical conditions that are very capable of ending your life. So I have been through it. And so when people judge me because they don't know me, people judge a book by its cover. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. But I have had to literally prove myself in front of people day after day, week after week, month after month. Like when I go to a job, people that don't know me. And they I'm able to feed the story through and tell people about things, and then they start to respect me and they realize, okay, so he's not lazy, he's just not this big fat loaf or whatever they're thinking, that I'm such a piece of shit because I can't like hardly do anything. And so that's the crap I've been struggling with. And like I said, it sucks. I'm 37 and I'm healthier than I was when I was 19. And actually, I'm not really healthy. Like, I'm healthy enough, obviously, to be here making this video, and I go to work and all that. But I mean, I literally am just hanging on to the edge with just a few extra hooks in the ice, until I plummet down to the bottom and die. But that's what's gotten me through. I think is my, everything is funny. Ha ha ha. Look at the guy that's dying. Ha ha ha. But you know what? I do love when I come across people that they get to know me. They know me. They watch what I do, how I am. They know my story, and they think that I'm a superhero. I'm not. I'm the opposite. I'm like walking kryptonite for myself, but I do really appreciate the praise and the people that are like proud of me and stuff, and it's helped me develop like a tough hide where when I start to feel like I'm about to be offended or upset because I know people are talking about me, and before I get overly defensive, I realize that, you know what, it doesn't matter. because I know who I am, what I've been through, and it's just too damn bad if they don't understand. I can only do what I can do. And so I just thought maybe I'd share that. I know, like, once more to go back, nobody gives a shit. I know. Maybe only the people that are, like, closest to me might care some, to a certain extent. But most other people, like, out there, your so-called, maybe your acquaintances, your friends, your co-workers, somebody else's family members, extended family, they will always look at you in a certain light, and depending on their character is going to that's what's going to make the difference in how they see you. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hope to have shorter versions of what I've been talking about today. But I would really appreciate you listening and seeing things from my point of view. So don't forget about what I said about, if you don't already, you need to get geared up. You need to get some training. You know where I am. You know how to get a hold of me. Contact me. I'm everywhere. And we can always do pro bono if it's something that you really need to get done, and you've got nowhere else to turn, and you're down more dimes than I am. You know what? If you're a good friend of mine, or you have shown me kindness, or you have aptitude for making something small great, I'd be more than welcome to offer my instruction for free. But just try to help me out and make sure that you bring supplies, ammo, cleaning stuff, targets, whatever you can think of that that you'll need for yourself, because I just can't be. I would love to be able to give out free training and free gear, but I barely have enough for myself anymore, and I have some saved up for a rainy day where if maybe we can't get certain things anymore. But yeah, so guys, hit me up if you want to get together and train, or you just want to BS. Don't forget my Telegram. We can always Zoom call. No distance is too great, so for my friends in other countries, my Russian friends, please don't hesitate to contact me, and we can do a Zoom call. We can talk through Telegram. We can use WhatsApp. So yeah, everybody stay safe. All right, go fast, don't die, use cover, just be better. Don't worry, wait for Russians. If you suck, you suck.